I don't know who need to hear this, but not a single man in this world is worth you destroying your mental health over. I don't care how good he looked. I don't care how many failed relationships you had in the past and you really want this one to work out. I don't care if you really want your children to have the positive aspects that he provides to you, but he's deteriorating you every single day to where you're losing the positive aspects of yourself. I don't care. It don't matter. It's not worth it. What does it profit a man to lose to gain the world and lose his soul? What does it profit you to gain this man and lose your mind? Sis, I get it. We tired of starting over, right? You're tired of investing and believing in somebody new and trying with somebody new and opening up your heart. You don't know with everything that's going on in life, if you can handle the heartbreak of trying to detach from this person and you've already put so much into it. But look, not a single man in this world is worth you destroying your mental health over. This is your sign to let him go. I don't know who needs to hear this. I don't care if your mama love him and he looks good on paper and he should be a good man and one day he might be a good man and you done did some things wrong too. I definitely don't care how much money he's paying. Not that providers don't matter. Because we live in a day and age where as a woman, you should be making $10,000 to $15,000 every single month. I know this sounds crazy, but actually I'm teaching on that later on. So let me put the link to that training because we're going to do it. I'm giving away $1,000 too if you want to join the training. I just put the link down there in the comments. But back to what I was saying. Some of y'all are trying to make relationships work. You're trying to force these things to work. And all it's doing is separating you from the best version of yourself. All it's doing is separating you from the very thing that you even got in a relationship for. To be fulfilled, to be happy, to be at peace. It's separating you from all of those things. It is not worth it. Somebody please vouch for what I'm saying. If you've ever been in that situation, put I down in the chat. If you've ever been in a relationship where you tried and you tried and you tried and you kept trying to make this relationship work with this man, and the whole time the rest of your life is just falling apart. It's not getting any better either. The relationship itself is not getting any better. The relationship is not getting any better. But the rest of your life, your health is falling apart. Your money is falling apart. Your relationships with your friends and your family is falling apart. Maybe you're afraid that you're going to look like a failure. Maybe you're afraid of what somebody might say. Maybe you're afraid that he'll go on and find better. I promise you he won't. Let me just say this. If you put your whole heart in that relationship, that man is not going to be able to replace you with anything better. Not for long. Because even you, and definitely better than you, if there's a such thing, is going to eventually recognize the exact same thing you're dealing with right now, and they're not going to last long. At best, he might be able to, quote unquote, replace you with something that seems better to everybody else on the outside looking, and that's just a matter of ego. But if you over there losing sleep trying to analyze this man's mixed signals, or you got anxiety attacks about whether or not he's texting another woman, you walking around on eggshells every day in your own relationship, in your own house, afraid to express your needs, or set boundaries. You not eating the same. Your appetite ain't really there. You don't even want to answer the phone when friends call to check upon you because you know you ain't got nothing good to say. It's hard for you to even be on a different topic other than how badly you're getting treated, but you know what they're going to say. So you don't even want to answer the phone. Put I down in the chat if you can relate to any of those situations. You trying to manage his moods and avoid his eruptions of anger and manage his behavior. Man, look at yourself. Look at the woman that you have become in a relationship with that man. Is this who you truly want her to be? The woman that you're capable of being? Your mental health can't be collateral damage in somebody else's emotional chaos. No relationship, none, should require you to sacrifice your sanity to survive it. None. And again, I live in a real world where, you know what, there are bills out here. There's, people got children together. I get it. And again, I just got to keep it all the way real with you. We're going to talk strictly more so on the mental and emotional, but do not forget the financial aspect of this, that even if that man is coming in and he got money and this, that, and the other, you got to have your own. This is why I preach that, because a lot of y'all are in situations, your mental health is tanking and it's just like a dead end job you don't want to be at, but it pays the bills. If the dude is the one paying the bills or he's the one filling in those blanks because you don't have enough money, I'm not mad at you. You're not bad. You're probably just another woman who didn't have a silver spoon or a handout and you work hard for everything. Okay, cool. But this day and age, there are ways that as a woman, you can be walking around with at least 30 to 40 in the bank. Liquid, you don't have to even touch, making $10,000 to $15,000 a month. I'm not just talking it. I literally taught it 6-7 months ago in January. Over 40 of those students that took the training I'm doing tonight with my real estate mentor, over 40 of them are already making $10,000 to $15,000 per month. Beginners. I'm talking about in real estate, but without a license. If you want access to that, click the link I put down here in the comments. I'm going live on that training in about 2 hours, 3 hours. Tonight. 7 p.m. Central. I invite everybody here. It's like 30 or 40 seats left. And I'm giving away $1,000 live. Or comment 15K and I'll give you access to it. But back to what I was saying. For those of y'all in a relationship with a man and you just want to defend and all that stuff, or you think that you just, you're trying to heal. Look, man, you're not healing from love. That's not conflict resolution. You are surviving a war zone disguised as a relationship. I was just telling the sister earlier, all the things that she's telling me. And look, y'all, I am a big proponent of heal together without hurting each other. I'm a big proponent of family staying together, working things out, talking things out. But you can't do all the work by yourself. You can't fight for that relationship by yourself. And there's sometimes you can't fight for it anyway. Sometimes fighting for a relationship, especially with the wrong person, is really just trying to force one that never should have started to begin with. Real love builds you up. Toxic dynamics tear you down. Your peace of mind should not be the price of that man's presence. If that's you, I'm talking to you. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if that is you, I am talking to you. You find yourself Googling if you're going crazy in the middle of the night because he's convinced you that your perfectly reasonable response to his unreasonable behavior are signs that something is wrong with you mentally. And maybe he even ties it back to something in your past or your childhood or your last relationship, all the things that you were vulnerable with him about. He done tied that in. But sis, you're not losing your mind. You're living in an environment designed to make you question your reality. If that's you, you got to get up out of that. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. I don't care who he is. I don't care what he does for a living. I don't care how good he talk. Look at the impact he's having on your life. You may have experienced anxiety in the past, or maybe it was the last time you was in survival mode and you had fight or flight going on. And now you've come to, by way of his gaslighting, came to believe that anxiety is a character flaw of yours when it's not. It's your nervous system screaming that something is dangerously wrong. Those mental health symptoms in this toxic relationship, those are your survival responses. Those are not your personal fallacies. Those are not your defects. Your body is trying to protect you from what your heart refuses to accept. I know this is going to step on some toes, and I'm not trying to say this to be callous. The number one feedback I get whenever I talk on something like this, and I just got it with the sister that inspired this conversation, is Derrick, it's not that easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I know it's not easy. You soul tied, trauma bonded, stigmatized, in love, attached, whatever you want to call it, whichever one of those, maybe all of the above. I get it. But it is worth it. Your mental health is worth it to leave. Think about it. You never had trust issues before this man. But now you checking his phone, analyzing his every word, feeling paranoid about his friendships, his work relationships. That's not you being crazy. That's your intuition working overtime because his behavior has given you a legitimate reason to be concerned. Even if you did have some trust issues in the past, the last time, what caused them? More than likely, they're getting triggered for a reason. And you thinking that, you know what, you're so intelligent, you're such a smart woman, if you put forth the effort, you can figure this out. But it's not that you need to figure anything out because he's complicated. No, he's toxic. Stop diagnosing his dysfunction as depth, as layers for you to pull back. His chaos is not complexity. His manipulation is not a mystery. Toxic people, they aren't a puzzle to solve. They're people to remove. problems to remove, should I say. Naima Lee says, seriously, I don't even want him anymore. Now he is making sure everyone sees me as a terrible person. Yeah, they're going to do that. They want to save their reputation more than they want to save a relationship. They always want to posture themselves as a victim, even if they're really the villain. Get out now. That's why there is no fixing this, making this work. No. You trying to tell your homegirls who see right through him that he's just complicated, when you describing a man who's sitting there lying or disappearing for days or treats you terribly, then love bombs you to get you back. That's not complexity. That's a pattern of abuse that you're romanticizing, because accepting the truth would mean accepting that you need to leave. I know this is heavy, but if you picking up what I'm putting down and what I'm saying is making sense, put facts down in the comments. And I was just telling the sister earlier that, you know what, I get it, because the dude that she's dealing with, he got a little money, and that's what he used to partially love bomb her. You know, he did all the things, he paid all the things, it made her life easier temporarily, but at what cost? Her inability to leave whenever she needed to. Now she gonna get set free later on, because she's coming to the training that I'm doing. She already reserved her seat. When she get to making the money that she's supposed to make, $15,000 in 45 days or less is what we teach on this training. We did it once in January. Hundreds of people missed out. Don't miss it this time. Live in a couple of hours. But she gonna be set free. Now, I don't know what strings attached you still got to this man. But if it's not finances, and again, it don't have to be, just comment 15K, and we're gonna make sure it ain't finances. But if it's fear, I want you to really look closely at that fear. What are you fearing? Is it really worse than the nightmare that you live in? Is it really worse than having to manage this man's emotions more than you're able to live your own life? Help me understand. You becoming a full-time emotional manager for somebody else's dysfunction? Your mental health is becoming a collateral damage for this man's emotional instability? I'm not saying relationships got to be perfect. I'm not saying that you got to be 100% healed, or if you aren't, and then you know you're not good enough. I'm not saying any of that. You may have some triggers, but the right man is not going to continuously trigger your trauma. He's going to be what helps you heal it, not heal it for you, but what helps you heal it. Love is supposed to be your safe space, not another source of your wounds. Healthy relationships are supposed to calm your nervous system. It's the toxic ones that constantly activate it. That's what fight or flight is. It's a protective mechanism. Healthy relationships are not something you have to protect yourself from. I mean, they're not. You don't constantly get alerted that you have to protect yourself from something that's not there to hurt you. So let's say you have trust issues from your past. And instead of being patient and consistent to help you heal, he does everything he can to make those issues even worse. He even leverages the fact that you had those trust issues in the past to insert doubt whenever you see patterns that remind you of that past. So he can get away with being secretive. So he can get away with lying about the small things or giving you reasons to doubt him. And then he turns around and blames your trauma when you react to him triggering it. Jennifer said, I need to hear this. It's a couple of you. You're not alone, Jennifer. Put I, if I'm talking to you right now. Maybe I'm talking to you right now. Maybe I'm talking to a past version of you, and you just needed this reminder because something is on the way that you need to be vigilant about. But no man is worth destroying your mental health. Not a single man in this world. And if he is, that's not you fighting for love. That's you fighting for a relationship that's slowly killing who you used to be. Love doesn't require warfare. Toxicity does. This new woman that he's deteriorating you to, that's not evolution. That is deterioration. That is regression. If you used to be a confident, happy, trusting woman, but now you feel like you're more anxious, suspicious, walking on eggshells, and you think it's fighting for love, but in actuality, you fighting against the systematic destruction of your mental health. That relationship isn't bringing out your best. It is burying your authentic self. I don't know who need to hear this, but his potential is not worth your breakdown, sis. You can't keep investing in promises while your reality crumbles. Those future fantasies do not heal present day trauma. That potential without consistent action is just false hope that's destroying you. You stay because you see him trying, or you think you see him trying. You stay because of who he could be. You know who he was whenever he was in the love bombing phase, or at least who he pretended to be, who he promised to become. Meanwhile, the daily reality that you're living is anxiety, confusion, emotional exhaustion. Do y'all even know? Like, put I down in the chat if you know what it feels like to be emotionally exhausted. Put I down in the chat if you know what that feels like to be emotionally exhausted. Like you're on the brink of numb. At that point, you betting your mental health on a possibility while the certainty is slowly destroying you. I just want to keep it real with somebody. I know this ain't a fun message to hear, but it ain't about nothing fun. It's about saving yourself, sis. You said, what to do when a man stands you up? Be grateful that he did. Don't try to chase him down. The same thing goes for whenever the good man that he presented himself to be stands you up in a relationship. When all the values that he claimed to have stand you up in a relationship, you don't go chasing him down. You block him. That's what you do. If he stands you up, right? No call, no show. Just like if he was at a job, fired. MIA, fired. No call, no show, fired. Much better to fire him and have to replace that employee than to let this one employee bring down the whole ship. Fired. That's what I say, dude. And again, this shouldn't be a matter of dependence. I get it. We live in a world where costs are high, and a lot of y'all, you might got a job, but your head is barely above water. You know, from month to month, you only got $1,000, $2,000, or maybe a couple $100 to your name. And you don't need another thing making life harder. I totally understand it. But if he's using any type of leverage other than his character, his consistent contribution to your life, to be in your life, he is making your life harder. And again, you definitely don't need a man financially, not this day and age. It's just about what you don't know. I don't care. Look, the training that I'm doing is not for people that's experienced in business, not for people that have real estate experience. It's for complete beginners. The women who are making $10,000 to $15,000 a month using this training, and the testimonials are on the page, but we're going to show them tonight as well. They were single moms. Some of them didn't even have a GED. Some of them hadn't even graduated, much less go to college. And again, I made the training free, but the seats are limited. So if you want in, I'm doing it in a couple hours, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Me and my real estate mentor. Because as much as people want to avoid that and act like everything is just mental and emotional, we got to be real. Sometimes the person's whole contribution is the finances. But this day and age, we don't live in the age of the safe provider man. That's just not where we live. We don't live in the age of the traditional man that's not going to try to leverage that as some type of control. As a woman, you have to put space between where you are right now when you first start dating a man and where you can trust him to provide for you. And even then, it's still a good idea to have your own. Now, if you agree with that, again, the training tonight is going to bless you. But you got to click the link that's pinned down there in the comments, or comment 15K. That's on average what people make in 45 days with no prior experience, no real estate license, after they use what we're going to teach in this training tonight. And it's live. But moral of the story is this. And for those just joining, I'll say it again. No man is worth you destroying your mental health over. Not one walking this earth. If he was any type of worth anything, he wouldn't be destroying your mental health. So let him go. Your sanity is not a small price to pay for love. It is everything. Because without your mental health, you really have nothing. You got to protect it fiercely. You got to prioritize it completely. And never let anybody convince you that their presence is worth your peace. Now, if you agree with that, or if you find truth in anything that I said, I don't ask for money. Keep your money. Not on this. Hit the little arrow down here at the bottom. so you can pay it forward to somebody else who needs this message. It might just reach them right when they need it the most, and that good karma gonna find you. I promise you that. But I'm your internet big bro. You know I got your back. And again, the reason why I can do this type of stuff for free is because I have multiple streams of income, and I'm going to be teaching along with my real estate mentor, one of those tonight for free. If you want access to that training, comment 15K and I'll send you a link, or click the link that's down here in the comments. I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all be good.